aspects, the most overlooked aspect of the game, right? So what does this mean? You could go back and evaluate other sides of the game. So I could go watch positioning, right? I could go watch whatever 1v1, something I'm lacking on. You can vote. Just because your arm, your leg, or your whatever is injured, that don't mean your heart is injured. That don't mean that got nothing to do with your passion, your drive, your commitment to the game. Matter of fact, it should just propel you and make you realize how much the game does mean to you when you get injured and when you lose it. So go study the game, right? Study the game, watch your position, watch it. And one key thing I used to do is, listen, I'll watch a goalkeeper make a save, right? I'll pause the video, I'll run it back in slow motion, I'll close my eyes, and I'll imagine him making the same save over and over and over. And then I'll imagine myself in the same situation making the same save, right? You got to do something in your head 1,000 times before you want to step on the field and do it, right? I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying you're just going to go and visualize everything being great. Absolutely not. Matter of fact, you should visualize the tough times too, right? One of the key components that athletes use to recover from a traumatic injury is visualization. They'll sit in a dark room, they'll close their eyes, and let's say I got my shoulder, I can't move my shoulder. I'll visualize myself, just move my shoulder up and down, left and right. And that visualization, it'll be crazy, the effects it'll have. So if you guys get injured, work on things that you didn't think about working on before, right? Work on, like for me, my shoulder's injured, my legs aren't injured. I can go to the gym, I can strengthen my legs, I can work on my legs, whatever. If you get an ACL or whatever, knee injury, go work on your upper body, right? Stuff like that. So don't make excuses, make adjustments, right? Whatever you get, you can work around. If it's a shoulder, if it's a knee, whatever. And then the mental, like no matter what your excuse is, unless you get an eye injury, you got no excuse to be not watching games, studying the position. Some of you guys get injured, you'll go home, you won't ice, you won't do nothing, you won't do no rehab, and you'll complain, why me, blah, 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 how this happened to me, all this work, pay. Listen, like that's not gonna help you. Matter of fact, you should help yourself by doing icing, rehab, whatever. They told me do rehab, I said I'll do the rehab 3 times a day. Whatever it takes for me to recover, I'm willing to do, right? And that's, listen, injuries come a dime a dozen. No matter how great you are, look at Kobe Bryant, right? Injuries left and right, but nobody looks at him and goes, ah man, he was always injured, he's not a great player. You know why? Because he took his rehab and recovery serious. I guarantee you we could come up with thousands of players who had great potential. They get one injury and their career over, right? And I was saying this about myself. I could go to the gym, I could squat 315, I could bench 225. I'm the man, I'm strong, I could play for hours, I don't get tired, right? But now you tell me like a 2-3 week injury is gonna sideline me mentally, right? You tell me a 2-3 week injury is gonna take me down when all these other things came. And you gotta look at it that way. You gotta remember, you've come too far, you've paid too much of a price to quit because of a little injury. You should be proud of yourself. Like, this is just a speed bump, right? It's a setback. A setback is a setup for a comeback, right? So just think about it that way, guys, and just know that after this injury, you'll come back stronger, smarter, and way better than you were before. And that's got to be your mental. So that's how I feel about the injury. I had a close friend of mine, right? He reached out to me. He was like, "Yo, listen, like I'm not playing in games. Like even when I do get subbed in, I'm getting subbed out. Like I'm just not starting. I'm not playing the way, that I think I should be playing, all right? So let's talk about this in general, because a lot of people are coming up, this is the issue they have, right? The biggest thing is like playing, right? And that's what you want to be doing. So let's say you're not playing in games, right? Number one, let's look at, are you really working hard enough to play in games, right? And I'm not talking about skill. I'm talking about hard work, right? If you show up to training and you're not giving 120%, and you go to the weight room, you're not giving 120%, you're not putting in extra sessions rather before, after training, or whatever. And I'm not saying you have to do these things, but if you're not playing, right, and you want to find out why you're not playing, if you're not doing those things, that extra hard work, and you're not giving 120% and proving to your coach you want to play, then that's on you, right? But let's say, you are putting that hard work and you're giving 100%, you're there before training, after training, whatever, and you're still not playing, then we could talk. But if you simply just showing up and not giving everything you got and you're not playing, that's on you, right? You need to check yourself, right? But listen, let's say now that we are giving 120%, we're grinding, we're working hard, but we're still not playing, okay? Let's go back and evaluate why we're not playing, okay? Let's look at, I'm giving 100%, but I'm like giving 120% in the right areas. Let's say I'm a center back, right? And I'm staying after training to do extra finishing or something like that. But the reason I'm not playing is my defending skills, right? Let's reevaluate that focus and let's go back and look at the defending skills, improve those, show the coach like I'm a rock solid defender, and I guarantee you get some minutes, right? And in some certain scenarios, it's hard to get minutes because let's say you're, if we're talking collegiate ball, right? You're a freshman center back that just got recruited and both starting center backs are phenomenal seniors, right? That are both gonna get pro. You're probably not gonna get some minutes, right? That sometimes that's just reality. No matter how good you play, those guys are seniors, they've locked in their spot for 4 years, and unless you really come in and prove that you got what it takes to beat them out, you're not gonna play, right? But just think about the future. And in that scenario, just focus on learning and growing, right? Don't be sad about it. Be like, okay, listen, these two guys are playing in front of me. Why are they playing in front of me? Okay, where are they good? Let me take those good aspects, look at where they're weak, right? And become strong at the weaknesses. And I guarantee you, number one, you're gonna get better, you're gonna learn, and eventually that spot's gonna be yours, right? So that's how you look at it if you're sitting on the bench, you're not playing, right? If you're either you're giving 120% or you're not, right? And there's other very, like listen, for me, like my problem was I wasn't playing, not because I wasn't skilled, and I was giving 120%. I guarantee you, nobody was outworking me. Not just in my school, but probably in the country. No other goalie was putting in four or five sessions a day, you know, where I was putting them in, and I was putting in quality too. My problem was my attitude, right? So my attitude held me back, okay? And I just didn't get along with my coach. That's what killed me. That can be some of your problems as well. So sometimes now, if you put me back in a scenario, I would be the bigger man, and I would take my loss if it means I could play, right? I would adjust my game and play the way coach wanted me to play so I could play. Because at the end of the day, it's better to be on the field and playing some type of way than sitting on the bench, having it your way and not playing at all, right? So think about that. Sometimes you got to be like, you know what, coach, you're right, you know? So I mean, he may not be right. He might be telling you to play a certain way that you know is wrong, but sometimes you just got to suck it up and be like, you know what, coach, you're right. If it means you going in, you should do whatever you can to play, right? Sometimes it means changing up your game a little bit. But ask yourself what's more important. You sit on the bench and not doing anything, or at least you getting in the game. Because if you get in the game, there's going to be moments where you're going to have your own time, and that's you can control your own time, right? You don't have to play coach's way all the way, right? But sometimes you got to make minor adjustments just so you can play. So that's my take. Now, let's talk about getting subbed in, right? So as a goalie, you only get subbed in if goalie gets injured, right? But field players, you're usually in and out, in and out. And so I had this one close friend, and he was like, if I don't play 90 minutes and I get subbed out, I just feel like I haven't had a good game, right? And this is what I said to him. I was like, listen, you playing 90 minutes, right? Sometimes it's out of your control because you could be having a great game, phenomenal game, right? You look at all the time. Pros have great games. You can score a hat trick, you get subbed out, right? But you get subbed out anyway because your coach has to make a rotation, or he thinks that somebody else could come in and play the tactic better than you, whatever. At the end of the day, you got to be a team player. You got to be selfish in aspects, but if the coach thinks someone else can do something a certain way that he needs it done for the moment, you're going to come out, right? That's out of your control. You could be playing great, but if the coach wants to take you out the end of the day, that's it, you come out. But listen, that's why I keep going back to the same thing. If you give 120% for those couple minutes you're on the field, then when you come out, you should be like, you know what? When I was on the field, I gave 120%. I couldn't have gave anything more. I'm good. You know, you could go back, you have no regret. But if you come out after playing whatever 60 minutes and you feel like you didn't have the impact you wanted, then you're gonna be full of regret because you're like, damn, on that one, I should have, if I knew it was gonna come out, I should have chased that guy down. I should have gave more effort on this ball. Oh man, I should have took that shot. Like, that's what I'm saying. So when you're in the field, take advantage of it, right? Realize it's an opportunity that can be taken away like this, right? So you should be giving 120% every time you're in the field. And I guarantee you that even when you do come out, you're gonna be like, you know what? It doesn't even matter. I gave 120%. My job's done, right? For now. Right, so that's what I think about it. And I'll tell you guys, like, I had it bad. I didn't play a single game, right? I didn't get no minutes, no subs in, no nothing, right? The one time I got subbed in was one of my first and last college game at community college. A goalie got a yellow card. He had to come off. I subbed in for 10 seconds in a penny. I didn't have gloves on. I subbed in for 10 seconds, and they subbed me out. People were laughing at me on the sides, and I was like, wow. And I told myself, I'll never feel this pain again. That's the kind of shit I went through. Right? So don't tell me, oh, you know, you guys playing 40, 60 minutes and get subbed out. I played 10 seconds, I got subbed out. Right? I didn't have gloves. I went in with a penny, not even a jersey, because that's how much respect they had for me. Right? But guess what? That L, it fuels me and it drives me now, because I'm like, I'm never going to let anybody do that to me again. Right? So listen, guys, whatever happens to you, just learn to deal with it, adjust, right? Look back at why a certain reason, like, it's all a science experiment. Look at the outcome. Why is it happening? Retrace your steps, adjust those steps, and research again. Test the experiment again. Right? If it doesn't work, if you don't get the result you want, go back, do another experiment, right? At the end of the day, it's all a learning process. So that's my take. If you're not playing, that's my take if you're getting subbed in and out of game. Just be happy, enjoy the experience, and know that you could get better. If you're getting subbed out, know that there's a reason why you're getting subbed out, whether you're tired or something, and go back and work on that reason, right? And if you're getting subbed out just for a tactical role, great, do your job and come out. That's it. So the last thing we're going to touch base on is let's say I'm putting in all this work, all this grind, you know, put out 3-4 months consistent, got my head down, I'm grinding, and I'm still not seeing any results. Or let's say something happened to you, like me, right? You put in 3-4 months of work, just get injured and you get knocked out, right? And so how do you feel about it? It's like, did I just waste my time? Was it any of it worth it? And long story short, the answer is yes, right? Because if we want to end it quick, you've never gone to a hard session, right, and come out of it and been like, damn, I really regret putting in that work today. Never, absolutely. And if you really put in that work, you'll never say that, right? So never, you're never gonna put in, after you put in hard work, you feel good, right? So if you, listen, let's say I worked, right? Let's talk about my story. I put my head down, I've been working whatever the past 4 years, but let's just shorten it down to the past 3 months. Really focused work with this pro team. I got signed, dream, this is my dream, whatever. First game I get injured, right? And this is like, I'm like, did I just waste my time? And I'm like, no. Why? Because it shows that all the hard work did pay off, right? All those late nights, early mornings when I was struggling, I was training with 20 minutes of sleep sometimes, right? And I would drive an hour and a half to go train hard. Not no joke, this is a pro team, right? Even though it's third division, it's still pro. Whatever, train hard, 20 minutes of sleep, and I'd kill it, right? And I never look back on it and be like, yo, I was a bad, no, I was like, yo, I pushed through it, it's getting better. And I look back at it now, and I'm glad I did all that. I'm not looking at the injury, because you know why? Because it showed me, like, I put in all that work, I got the pro contract, I got the first start, I got injured, that's out of my control, whatever. But it worked, right? Now, let's say you put in all this work, because guess what? 2 months and 29 days before it, I had the contract, I was just thinking I'm just working for no reason, because there's no contract. So let's fast forward. I put in the work. Some of you guys work for 24 hours and you don't see results and you get sad and upset. This is a process. And that's why I gotta say, you gotta come to love the process, not the results. And that's why I feel good, because I'm like, I just love working. I love waking up every day and chasing what I love, right? Some of you guys aren't like that. You're like, oh, you know, I need to do good on this test. I need to do good on this game so I can get this reward so my mom can, you know, give me $50 or some shit. Your mindset is wired wrong. You too focus on the results. And I'm not saying, we'll save that for another day. Some days you gotta be focused on the result, right? That's gotta push you and motivate you. But in a journey like this, you day in, day out, I wanna see you go on that field, struggle 3-4 times a day and still think about the results. You know, you gotta fall in love with the process. That's the only way you're gonna get better. So for some of you guys saying, oh, I'm not seeing results in 3, this is a marathon, right? It's consistent, you got it every day in, day out. And sometimes you can't look in the mirror to look for results. Because if you do that, you're going to be sitting there depressed every day, right? Some of you guys running around, you know, you watch a video of like, I don't know, let's say I'm a goalie. I'll watch a video of Neuer making these big saves and I train for a week and I'm not making the big saves. I get sad. You know why? Because you got to realize the people you see online doing it, the people you're aspiring to be, they put in years and years and years and years of work. There's no such thing as an overnight success, right? It's just that you never see the work they put in behind the scenes. And you got to realize that for you to get to where they want to get to, you got to put in that same work. And a lot of people, they just don't want to put in that work. They're afraid. They don't see the results. They quit halfway through. But I guarantee you this. If someone's going through the process right now and you're struggling, don't quit. Because I guarantee you, if you're a month from now, you're going to be like, yo, thank God I didn't quit. I kept going. Now I'm better. Because at least in a month, you're going to be further than when even if it's one step, even if you a little bit better, just know that you are a little bit better in that month, right? So what I like to do is don't focus on the price you have to pay for what you want. Just focus on just whatever it takes to get there, right? Don't focus on the price. Just do whatever it takes. If they say, like, if somebody told me, like, you want to be a pro, you're going to have to put in the next 4 years of your life. You're going to have to go through injuries, depression, anxiety, struggle, whatever, but you'll finally sign a pro contract. And when you do get that pro contract, you're getting injured. If somebody told me that before I signed, I would have been like, let's do it, right? Because I never focus on what I have to do, right? I never focus on like, what I mean by what I have to do is I never focus on like a negative way. Like, oh, I got to wake up and train at 4 a.m.? Oh, nah, like, never mind. I don't want to be. If they told me that, I'm like, yo, listen, I'm going to commit myself to this goal, and whatever it takes for me to do, I'm going to do. And as simple as that. If you have that mindset, that whatever it takes mentality, then I guarantee you guys, you're going to get it. So stay hard, keep going, stay hungry, and just stay after that dream. All right, so listen. So a big thing for me, and so when I was going to this team, right, it's called New Amsterdam FC. When I was going to it, maybe like 2 weeks in, right, it was a struggle. There was no convenience for me, right? They weren't paying me to come. They weren't paying for my gas. They weren't paying for nothing, right? Everything was out of my pocket. I had to drive an hour and a half to training, an hour and a half back from training. I had to pay $20 parking to park at the field, right? So every day was a price for me. And eventually I got sick of it because I didn't get signed after 2 weeks. I was like, man, what am I doing here? I'm wasting so much money every day, blah, 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 blah. I'm like 2 weeks in, like they haven't signed me yet. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute, right? I was like, I'm thinking too far ahead. Let me go back, because listen, the first day you do something, right? Let's say the first day you about to go to school, you're going to have your clothes set up the night before. You're going to wake up like 2 hours early. You're going to be ready. You're going to be like, yeah, I'm the man. Now, let's say you get used to it. You're like, yo, this ain't what I thought it was going to be. I don't like this. I hate this. Like, go back to that. Every day is day one. You got to prove yourself every day. And that's when I flipped the switch. I said, okay, let me go back to day one. I said, okay, I'm taking this route. I've never taken this route before. I'm going to training. This is my first time in training. I got to prove myself. I don't really know anybody, blah, blah, blah. I got to be vocal. I got to play hard. I got to give 120, right? Because that first day, you're going to do everything great. You're going to hold yourself to the highest standard. So what if you have that day one mentality every day? Every day you go to do something is day one, right? So that's the day one mentality in my eyes. And it helps you always give 120. Because the first day you do something, you're excited. You're ready to go. And if you keep that mentality every day, you're going to fucking fly up. So I keep that day one mentality.
Listen guys, wins and losses come a dime a dozen, right? You gonna have some days where you up, you gonna have some days where you up, and you gonna have some days where you down, right? Don't let the highs get to your head, don't let the lows get to your head, right? Just remember, some days you're gonna be the top, some days you're gonna be the bottom, but always keep going, keep the same mentality. Don't be driven by wins, don't be driven by losses. Always keep that hunger, that drive, that focus, and that's it.